Have you ever wondered what would happen if the world lost oxygen for even 1 second? This life-sustaining element, so ubiquitous that we often take it for granted, plays a crucial role in our daily lives. It's not just about breathing. Oxygen is integral to combustion, corrosion, and countless chemical reactions that keep our world turning. Now imagine, if you will, a world where this essential element disappears for a mere second. What might be the potential fallout of such an event? Would it be a momentary hiccup, or would the repercussions be more severe? Would we simply gasp for breath, or would our modern world come to a grinding halt? Would it be chaos, or would some unexpected beneficiaries emerge from the oxygenless blink? These are not mere hypotheticals designed to tickle your intellectual curiosity. They are serious questions that explore the fundamental nature of our world. Now let's dive into this breathless world and explore the consequences. First, the obvious. Without oxygen, we would all stop breathing. No surprise there, but let's delve a bit deeper into this reality. All creatures that rely on oxygen for respiration, from the tiniest microorganisms to the mighty blue whale, would instantly be in dire straits. The immediate impact would be catastrophic, a veritable domino effect. In the human body, the lack of oxygen, known in medical terms as anoxia, would initially cause unconsciousness. You might think, well, a quick nap can't hurt, but this is no ordinary slumber. This is the body's desperate attempt to preserve its remaining resources. As the seconds tick on, the situation becomes more severe. The brain, a greedy consumer of oxygen, starts to malfunction. Brain cells are delicate creatures, you see, and without oxygen, they begin to die off at an alarming rate. This can lead to permanent brain damage and, in the worst-case scenario, death. Yet humans, with our complex systems and reliance on technology, would experience other immediate impacts. Imagine, if you will, the sudden silence as internal combustion engines cut out, starved of the oxygen they need to run. Cities would come to a standstill, and the world as we know it would change in a blink. But that's not all. Let's look at the unpredictable consequences that might surprise you. Beyond the obvious, things get a little weird. Now let's dive into the peculiarities that might occur in the absence of our vital friend, oxygen. Imagine stepping out and seeing a completely black sky, even in the middle of the day. This isn't a scene from a science fiction movie, but a likely consequence of an oxygenless world. Oxygen molecules in our atmosphere scatter the sun's light, creating that splendid blue sky we're all accustomed to. Without it, we'd be looking into the void of space, even when the sun is high above. Now, picture the ground beneath your feet starting to crumble. The Earth's crust comprises a quarter of oxygen. Without it, the crust would lose its integrity, causing a catastrophic breakdown. We're talking about a worldwide earthquake, the likes of which we've never seen before. But it's not just the Earth's crust that would suffer. The absence of oxygen would cause every piece of untreated metal on the planet to instantly weld together. Why, you ask? Well, oxygen forms a thin layer of oxidation on metals, preventing them from sticking to each other. Take away the oxygen and you've got a worldwide metal meld. Now, let's talk about sound, or rather, the lack of it. Without oxygen, our world would become eerily silent. Sound needs a medium to travel through. No oxygen means no air, and no air means no sound. The birds chirping, the rustling leaves, the hum of traffic, all would cease in an instant. All these changes would occur in just 1 second without oxygen, a mere tick of the clock, and our world as we know it would be unrecognizable. But amidst the chaos, could there be any beneficiaries in this oxygenless world? As surprising as it may seem, the answer is yes. But who or what could possibly benefit from such a scenario? Well, that's a tale for another scene. In this oxygenless world, are there any winners? Now, that's a question. It appears that in the absence of oxygen, there might be a few unlikely beneficiaries. Enter the anaerobic bacteria. These little creatures don't need oxygen to survive. In fact, they thrive in environments where oxygen is absent. With the sudden disappearance of oxygen, they would experience a short-lived period of dominance, relishing in the absence of their oxygen-loving microbial competitors. Then there are extremophiles, organisms accustomed to surviving in extreme conditions like the deep-sea hydrothermal vents or the salt flats of Death Valley. These hardy life forms might not just survive an oxygenless world, they could potentially flourish. So while most of the world would be in chaos, these microorganisms would be having a field day. But remember, this is a fleeting victory. The ecosystem's balance is delicate, and such a drastic change has far-reaching implications. So, an oxygenless world is not all doom and gloom, at least not for everyone. So, what happens when the oxygen comes back? Well, imagine the world holding its breath for 1 second and then suddenly exhaling. The return of oxygen would be like a gust of wind, reigniting the fires of life. But it wouldn't be as simple as flipping a switch. The sudden reappearance of oxygen would result in immediate oxidation. This rapid process could spark spontaneous fires as the sudden rush of oxygen interacts with flammable materials. Imagine a world set ablaze not by the hands of humans but by the very element that gives us life. But nature, as we've seen time and again, is resilient. The world would recover, albeit slowly. The fires would eventually die out, leaving behind charred remnants of a world that held its breath for a moment. Life, however, would find its way back. The greenery would sprout anew, wildlife would return, and the world would breathe again. Cities would rebuild, products would be remade, and humans would adapt as we always have. We would learn from this harrowing experience, understanding the delicate balance of our world and the importance of the air we breathe. While this might seem like a catastrophic event, it is a reminder of how crucial oxygen is in our lives and to our planet. So, let's take a moment to appreciate our next breath of fresh air.